What's up, everybody? It's your boy K Love back again with another episode of the 410 Pod. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. I hope everyone, got a chance to watch some of these college championship games this weekend. There were a lot of good ones out there, man. And we're going to dive into all of that today. But first off, before we get into anything, I do want to say thank you to anybody that is listening now, anybody that has listened to my first two episodes. It's greatly appreciated. It's all motivation, and I'm going to keep delivering more and more episodes for you guys, and I'm going to continue to strive to get better and learn more about the podcast game. And sooner or later here, I'm going to be having my camera on so you guys can see my setup. Still in the process of getting that right. And yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the support. And, not to use up all my time loving you guys up, let's hop right into it. All right, championship weekend. First game we're going to talk about is the Boise State UNLV game. Number 10 versus number 20. The rematch from an exciting game that happened in the regular season. Boise State came out on top in that first game, and they came out on top again on Friday night. They have the same game plan every week, guys. We're going to run the ball better than you. We're going to out-physical you every single play. Simple. That is Boise State's plan every single week. And then once we out-physical you, and then once you load the box up with 10 people, we're going to take our shot. And guess what? They took their shots. Maddox Madsen had a great game. He showed up last night, or not last night, the other night. He was 18 for 27, 158 yards through the air, threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown in. What more can you ask for? Ashton Jeanty, obviously he showed up. That's the Heisman front runner right there. Heisman front runner. In my opinion, my honest opinion. Jeanty popped off for 32 carries and 209 yards, averaged 6.5 yards per carry, and then he popped off a long 75-yard touchdown. That touchdown right there was French kiss. It was patient. Boom. First hole he saw, gone, off to the races. Like Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. Made that safety miss. He had one man to beat, man. Shout out to the O-line. Again, their O-line is eating every week. Anytime Jeanty has 209 yards, it's probably because his O-line was eating. And obviously, Jeanty is a specimen in himself, but we have to give credit to the O-line as well. They ate last night. They protected Madsen, right? Kept him upright in that pocket, allowed him to have an efficient night. Like I said, he was 18 for 27. Boise State had a couple receivers do their thing. Matt Lauder's the tight end, 85. He had 5 catches for 62. Latrell Capels is the one that caught that touchdown. Number 3 is his number. 2 catches for 37. Cam Camper had 4 catches for 26. Right? UNLV just couldn't get it going. Not like last time, right? Hodge had an insane game versus Boise State the last time they met up. This time they contained them a lot better in the run game. Hodge only had 21 carries, not only 21 carries, but he had 21 carries for 56 yards, averaged 2.7 yards a carry, no touchdowns. And a boneheaded interception there in the coming out of halftime. It's just bad. It was just bad. The receiver was covered up. I mean, that corner couldn't have covered that receiver anymore. And he still threw it up. The corner came down with it. I thought it was just like, what are you doing type of throw. Like, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Their running back, Kylan James. Kylan James had 2 carries for 95 yards. Popped off 2 carries. But then they stopped running with him. They kept running with Hodge. Hodge was inefficient all night. I don't know why they didn't, 2 carries for 95 yards. I'm going to try to keep running them. You know what I mean? Hodge was inefficient in the pass game, threw under 50%, throwing 13 for 28 and 110. Right? Lack of production in the receiver room, had some drops out there. It just didn't look like UNLV wanted to play, This goes back to a lot of, the run game, going back to their run game. I feel like, yeah, they had 217 yards of rushing, but they didn't make up for it in the pass game, right? They still didn't have more time in possession than Boise State. Boise State had 32 minutes of TOP, and UNLV had 27. Yeah, it's a 5-minute difference, but 5 minutes is a lot of football. 5 minutes is a lot of football. And the penalties, 5-1. It may not seem like a lot, but Boise only had 1 penalty. They played a clean football game. No turnovers. No turnovers and 1 penalty. They played a clean football game. Lots of first downs. Lots of rushing yards. Efficient in the passing game. Efficient per play, right? 5.8 yards per play. You can't ask for more from Boise State, man. Congratulations to Boise State on the win and being named the Mountain West Conference winners, man. And this win over UNLV gives Boise State a first-round bye and home field advantage for a week for their first game. That's exciting for Boise. They're going to need it, right? And they're going to be playing the winner from Penn State and SMU. And they're going to be at home in the Fiesta Bowl. I'm sorry, they're not going to be at home. I'm sorry, it's going to be a neutral site when they get there. But they're still going to be in the range where they could have home field advantage. Because Fiesta Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, is played in Arizona. Arizona is not too far from Idaho, but it's obviously not super close, but it's not too far. So I think they'll have more. I think they'll have some home field advantage there. But either way, like I said, congratulations to Boise State on the win. Congratulations on the championship. Congratulations on the historic year, Ashton Jeanty. I hope you win Heisman, man. You got my vote. If my vote meant anything, you had it. You got it. You got it, Ashton Jeanty. You have got it. Moving on. Arizona State versus Iowa State. 15 versus 16. ASU comes out on top, dominating the Iowa State Cyclones. Dominating. And entering their bid into the college football playoffs, along with getting a first-round bye to get, extra rest, man. That's all you wanted. They got it. They worked for it all year long. They were projected last, dead last in the Big 12. They were projected dead last. And they come out on top. 45-19 versus Iowa State. Shout out to them. All right, Sam Leavitt, what a game. You couldn't ask this kid to be more efficient. He's 12 of 17, 219 through the air, 3 touchdowns. Cam Scatterbo, if I'm saying that right, Scatterbo, 16 carries, 170, 2 touchdowns. Man, give those two a game ball. Give them a game ball. And then ASU's defense, give them a game ball. Because they kept this Iowa State offense under wraps all game long. Iowa State just couldn't get it done. 3 turnovers. Right? 3 turnovers. That's unacceptable, Iowa State. That is unacceptable. But back to Cam Scatterbo. He is a problem. He is a problem. All right. That 170 was a dominating 170. Very dominating 170. But my question about Arizona State is, will this run game be enough against, the SEC defenses, the Big Ten defenses, you have some really good defenses in this college football playoffs this year. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep it up. I'm not hating or anything. I'm just being honest. Like, we still have to look. They were projected to be dead last. Yeah, they won the Big 12. But, the deeper picture, the bigger picture. Let's see if they can keep it up. They have to, right? Also, the defense. Will the defense be able to keep up? Those are my questions. Can they keep up? There's a lot of explosiveness in this college football playoff picture this year. And my big question is, can Arizona State keep up? Can they keep up? I don't know, right? Sam Leavitt, he's going to have to be the X factor in the playoffs. He's going to have the type of game that he had in this Big 12 championship game, right? Like I said, 12 for 17, 219 through the air, and 3 touchdowns. He's going to have that type of game in the playoffs if they want to have a chance at making a run. He's going to have some of those games. And the receivers, right? They had a solid game. There's a couple of receivers popped off against Iowa State. I mean, not too much volume. They only threw the ball 17 times, but the ball was being spread out a lot by Leavitt, and he's going to have to do that. Also, Leavitt's going to have to continue to use his legs, right? They're going to have to continue to create some of those design runs for Leavitt, right? 7 carries for 33 yards. Hey, you're playing 11-on-11 football. Right? For those out there that don't know what that means, right? So, let's take a team like Drake May and the Patriots, right? Let's say Drake May and the Patriots, right? Drake May is not a mobile quarterback or considered a dual threat quarterback. You're not playing 11-on-11 football because you're not designing anything for your quarterback to make him a weapon to the defense. Now, when you're playing 11-on-11 football, for example, like a team like the Baltimore Ravens, who have the best dual threat quarterback in the league, you're playing 11-on-11 football as an offense, right? Not 10-on-11, because when you have a quarterback that gets stuck in the pocket and can't make a play, can't extend a play, it's tough, right? You're very limited, right? And you have a less chance of creating explosive plays like that. And ASU is going to have to continue to play 11-on-11 football as an offense if they want to make a deeper run in this, and if they want to make a deep run in this playoff, right? Now back to Iowa State and why they lost. Why did Iowa State lose? It didn't look like they wanted to be there. It didn't look like they wanted to be there, y'all. Right? They started extremely slow. Extremely slow. They were down 24-10 at halftime. And then they allowed Arizona State to keep pouring it on them, man. They poured it on them in the third quarter. Allowed 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. That's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable. It is. Right? And then their coach, his name slipped my mind, but he's been there for a long time, and he's come up short a lot, right? He's come up short a lot, and then he's had a lot of bad years. So my question is, where do you go from here, Iowa State? Do you fire the coach? Right? I think it's time to open up the bag. Transfer portal is about to open up. Right? It's going to be a lot of talent out there. It's going to be a lot of talent out there. And if y'all want to make a run next year, Y'all gonna have to spin. Money, 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 money. Money. Right? All right. Also, Iowa State, man. Like, coach, why are you kicking a field goal down 35 in the fourth quarter, late in the game? Shouldn't you be aggressive? Like, can we have a second and talk about that right there? You should be trying to score as many. You should be trying to get in the end zone anytime you have the ball in your hands. I don't care. You're down 35 points. 35. Coach, go score a touchdown. Like you're playing to not lose by 100. Go score a touchdown. You're playing to try to win every single time you have the ball in your hands. You're playing to score every time you get the ball in your hands. So, with that being said, go try to score a touchdown. Please. But, nonetheless, congratulations to Iowa State, sorry. Congratulations to Arizona State Sun Devils on their win versus the Iowa State Cyclones yesterday. Their 45-19 win makes them the Big 12 winner in their first year, which I wanted to touch on as well. All these teams making it to championship games in their first year, being in the conference, right? It's impressive. College football is honestly at its peak right now, but also at its downfall with the NIL. But we'll talk about the NIL in another episode. But it's a good thing to see, right? All these new teams making a name for themselves, making a name for themselves in around the country, like for their recruiting. It'll be nice to see Arizona State being in the picture every year, in the top 25 picture every year now, right? The SMUs, right? Army, these teams in their first years dominating teams that have been there before. And it's a sight to see for college football. It is a sight to see for college football, man. Like I said, congratulations to those guys. Earned them a first round bye in the college football playoffs in their first year in the conference. Also, while they were projected preseason to be dead last in the conference. Congratulations, Arizona State. Moving on. Next up, we have number 5 UGA over number 2 Texas, man. That game there, it was slow to start off, but ended in thriller fashion. Slow to start, but ended in thriller fashion. First off, I want to send my prayers up to Carson Beck, sorry. Not Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck. Carson Beck took another hit to his throwing arm this week. I don't know if any of you guys watched the G-Tech versus Georgia game last week, but he also took a hit in that game while he was trying to release the ball. Like the D lineman, hit his arm in the middle of his throwing motion. Probably messed up his rotator cuff. I haven't seen any updates on his injury, but prayers up to that guy, man. They're gonna need him in the playoffs. He's a big piece to their puzzle, and trying to get back to another national championship. Georgia's a heavyweight team, and Carson Beck's a heavyweight quarterback. Man, he's got a lot of talent, and they're gonna need it. But congratulations to UGA on their win over Texas. I was rooting for the Bulldogs in this game, man. Y'all know I'm an Oklahoma fan. I hate Texas with everything in me. Horns down for life. It was a good sight to see Texas lose. But it would have been cool to see Texas win in their first year in the SEC. But they made it in their first year in the SEC and lost. And as an OU fan, hey, horns down. I wish you guys could see my face, but horns down. I'm throwing up the horns down right now. And this gives UGA a first round bye. That's good for them. They had a rocky season, a real up and down roller coaster season. Their offense was slow at points, but their defense was keeping them in games, winning them games. And UGA took a couple bad losses this year, but they bounced back. Right? They fought. They faced adversity all year long, and they bounced back when they needed to the most. And I want to give another shout out to Gunnar Stockton, man. Came in, orchestrated. Yeah, he threw an interception, but other than that interception, he was efficient, right? The run game was rolling. They didn't ask Gunnar Stockton to come in and win this game. They asked Gunnar Stockton to come in there and not lose this game for them, man. And he went in there, didn't lose the game for him, right? That's all you can really ask out of the backup QB. Right, Trevor Etienne did not know he was going to be coming back this week, but right before the game, they were saying that he was a game-time decision. I was like, oh, that's nice to know. Trevor Etienne was the X factor for Georgia. 16 carries, 94 yards, averaged almost 6 yards a carry, and had 2 touchdowns. Also caught 5 passes for 28 yards. He was an X factor. They got the ball to him, and he got busy, man. And that's all you can really ask. And he also got some production out of the backup running back, Nate Frazier. 6 carries for 47 yards, almost averaging 8 yards a carry. That's who I thought was going to be the prime back this week. But Trevor Etienne said, hey, I ain't done. Don't count me out, right? They don't count me out. But in fashion, Georgia's defense showed up. Yes, they gave up a lot of passing yards, a lot of big plays, but they created turnovers, right? Forced 3 turnovers. They forced 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Dalen Everett, and they had a fumble recovery, and they created a ton of pressure. It looks like they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 sacks on the day. When you have 6 sacks from your front 7, hey, you're going to win a lot of games, a lot of championships. Georgia's defense is built to win championships. If your defense is not built like this, hey, good luck. Hopefully your offense is built to, keep up with Georgia's the defense of Georgia's calibers, right? They created a lot of pressure, and then created turnovers. That's winning football, right? Their defense backed up their QB2. They knew they knew the offense was going to have a little bit of problems over there, and the defense stepped up and got on the ball as many times as they possibly could. And the offense, they capitalized when they needed to. Game went to overtime. Offense did their thing. Texas, man. This was just a sloppy game, man. You threw the ball well, but like I said on Friday's episode, you're going to have to run the ball. The team that runs the ball the best was going to win this game. Georgia ran that ball. Oh, they ran that ball. And yes, they had 2 turnovers, but they still controlled the ball most of the game. More than you in the game, right? They had almost 32 minutes of time of possession to your 28. It's not good, Texas. And then 11 penalties for 94 yards. That is, woo! I know Sark is going to get them boys on that hill. They're going to get them on the bags or whatever it is. I don't know what. But 11 penalties is unacceptable. 11 penalties is unacceptable, Texas. If you're going to try to win a championship, you're going to have to do better than that. You're going to have to play cleaner football. You're going to have to play more disciplined football. Right? That is unacceptable for you guys. And I think you guys are like Texas fans. I think y'all are going to, still make a deep run. Texas is still one of the best teams in the country. Right? They lost the conference championship game. That's fine. I still think they're better than half of the bracket. Right? They're going to win their first game. I'm pretty sure. I got to check to see who they play first game, but we're going to get into that a little bit later in the episode. But you still can't hang your hat on this game, Texas. Clean up the mistakes, right? Clean up all of those penalties. Clean up that third down efficiency. 6 for 18. My goodness, right? Clean that up, and y'all gonna be in shape. Y'all gonna be in the right spot. And run the ball. Try to get some run game going. Open lanes up for Quinn Ewers, man. Quinn Ewers, my goodness, 27 of 46, 358. That's a lot of yards, but you also threw the ball almost 50 times. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. I know you wish to have those 2 picks back. 2 picks back, bro. I know you do. But you got to clean that up. Like I said in last episode, Quinn Ewers and the Texas Longhorns, they fail to come up big in the big games, man. They always come up short. But that's Texas, you know. That's Texas. They always came up short. Look at their conference championship games against Oklahoma in the past, right? They came up short in a lot of those games. And that's just who they are. That's who Sark's team is. Coming up short. Quinn Ewers in a big game. You saw this in the last matchup versus Georgia. Throwing picks. All right. Throwing picks. Quinn Ewers, you need to start taking those easy throws, man. You're forcing stuff downfield. Right? I get the pass game is going. Right? I get it. But you got to start taking your easy throws, right? On those 2 picks, you probably had some easier throws to make. Safer looks, right? That's what these NFL scouts are looking for. Which quarterback is going to take their money throw? Their check maker, right? Their check casher. Their running back. The check down, baby. Who is going to take the check down? Tom Brady played 23 years in the league because of what? That check down, baby. That check down. Like, Texas. On a good note, though. On a positive. Let's flip this thing over to the positives. For you, Texas. Right? You had production in the receiving room. That production that I didn't think that was going to happen, right? I thought Gunnar Helm, Wingo, and Bond and Silas were going to have games. But DeAndre Moore Jr., round of applause to you. Matthew Golden, round of applause to you. You guys stepped up yesterday. Matthew Golden, number 2, wears jersey number 2, wide receiver. He had 8 catches for 162, averaging 20 yards a catch. No touchdowns, though. Number 0, other wide receiver, DeAndre Moore Jr., 9 catches for 114 and a touchdown. He had a lot of explosive plays. Number 2 had a lot of explosive plays. Texas is loaded, man. But this run game, Quintravion Wisner, 19 carries for 51 yards, man. Texas, Sark. That's not good. That's not going to cut it. Versus Trevor Etienne, 16 carries for 94 yards. They're over there controlling the ball. With Nate Frazier's, RB2, 6 carries for 47. They're controlling the ball, like Texas. They're controlling the rock. You guys are not. Your production in the run game yesterday was pitiful. It was. 19 carries for 51, averaging 2.7 a carry is not it. Jaden Blue, 2 carries, 2 yards. Come on, Texas. Y'all just gave up on the run game. Y'all did. I mean, y'all tried to feed him. 19 carries is a lot. Y'all tried. But that O-line, y'all better nut up. Because y'all going to have to see Georgia again eventually. Possibly. Y'all might see him again. Y'all might run into him again. And Texas. Man, I say this all the time. If you have 2 QBs, you have no QB. Meaning, you got a 2 QB, you going back and forth between 2 quarterbacks. You don't have a QB1, right? You got 1A, 1B. You don't have a true QB1. Yeah, Arch isn't getting a lot of throwing reps, but he's getting thrown into that game a lot, man. And you better use him. Mix it up. Every time you throw Arch in a game, you run the ball with him, right? Mix it up. You're getting predictable. Mix it up, Texas. Arch Manning is a 4-star, 5-star QB. Let him throw the ball, right? You get him an all hitch. Get him an all hitch concept or something. Get him a stick concept or a spacing, right? Something. A curl flat, a slant flat, something, right? Get him going. He's the future, right? Let him get a couple throws in there. If you're going to let him get in the game, let him get him a couple throws. Don't be one-dimensional and just make him run zone read or blast or power or something like that. Like, don't be one-dimensional. If you want to win, you gotta mix it up. Texas, this offense is going to get stale at some point. And then if you don't want it to get stale, you better get in the lab. You better hit the whiteboard. Better hit that whiteboard, man, and get that run game back on point, because 51 yards out of your RB1 ain't cutting it. Off of 19 carries, that ain't cutting it. That just ain't cutting it, man. All right, moving on to Oregon over Penn State. Another thriller, man. Another thriller. Another thriller. This game was won by the Oregon Ducks. They came out on top 45-37 over Penn State. Oregon and Penn State started off fast. This game started off as a shootout, man. Right? Going into halftime, Penn State had 24, Oregon had 31. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points in one half, man. And then going into the second half, both sides made adjustments, right? Oregon scored 14 points total in the second half, and Penn State scored 13. But those 13 came late in the fourth. It just wasn't, they didn't come in time, right? Penn State scoreless in that third quarter. I think if they score something, they have a little bit more momentum going into that fourth quarter and probably have a better chance of coming out on top. But Oregon, congratulations. You guys are the Big Ten winners in your first year. Congrats to my guy Dylan Gabriel, former Sooner quarterback, right? In his first year with Oregon, taking them boys to the moon. Taking them boys to the moon. You love to see it. He had a hell of a performance. 22 of 32, 283, 4 tutties. Dylan Gabriel, I don't know how he's gotten out of the Heisman talks, right? If you look at his stats over the year, he's 3,500 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I mean, I guess, 28 passing touchdowns isn't really that impressive when Ashton Genty has also ran for 28 touchdowns. But nonetheless, I think he was up there in the Heisman talks. He just didn't have that many touchdowns because, his team is just loaded with talent, man. His run game is insane. He has Jordan James in the backfield. Jordan James is a hell of a back. He had a really productive day yesterday. He had 20 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. Right? No receptions in the game, but wait, no. Yeah, he had 3 catches for 20 yards. Yeah, I thought he had a couple catches in there. He had 3 catches for 20 yards and had a really productive day on the ground. Scored twice. Dylan Gabriel had a couple rushes in there as well. 6 carries for 17 yards. It's only 3 yards a carry, but hey, he ain't that type of guy. He was slinging that thing yesterday though, leading those guys to a win. Tez Johnson, that's who I wanted to talk about first. Tez Johnson had a day, 11 catches for 181 yards, averaging 16.5 yards per catch for a touchdown. Tez, you the man. Tez. You are the man. Pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, no. No. I'm thinking of someone else. I thought he was out of the hometown. Thought he was a hometown guy, but no. But nonetheless, he had a game yesterday, man. Had a game. 11 catches. It's a lot. A lot of production from him. Not too much other production from the receivers yet. Actually, I guess you can call it production. 3 catches for 30 yards, 2 catches for 30 yards. 2 other receivers put up touchdowns. Kenyon Sadiq had 2 touchdowns, 2 very nice touchdown catches late there in the game. Terrence Ferguson had a good touchdown catch there. Oregon's defense, solid. Came up big. Good interception there late by Nico Reed. Sacked by Derek Harmon. But other than that, it was a pretty quiet game from that end on it, like the turnover aspect. Now, Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion, this year is a top 3 quarterback prospect. It's him, Shadur. Oof. I don't know who number 3 is, really. It might be... That's tough. Number 3 is weird. I think Jackson Dart, maybe. Right? Dylan Gabriel, he's going to be the X factor in the college football playoffs. It's obvious that he's the quarterback, y'all. But he has to play like this every single time they touch the field. He has to. If Oregon wants a chance to win, he has to play like this. Right? This is a Marcus Mariota type beat minus the running. Right? He's on a Marcus Mariota type beat right now with the 8, rocking the 8. Right? He's got the aura and all of that stuff. Right? He has to do this every single time he steps on the field if they want a chance to win the national title. They're the best team in college football right now. Right? 13-0. They beat everybody in their conference. And whoever else stepped in front of them. And Penn State, on the other hand, right? Y'all are not a bad team at all. Penn State, y'all had a hell of a game. Y'all played a hell of a game. Drew Aller, though. Oh, buddy. Those 2 interceptions. I know you wish to have those back. Penn State, if you want to win, I don't think you need to be throwing the ball with Drew Aller 39 times in a game, right? Lean on that run game some more. Give Nick Singleton 15 carries. Give Katron Allen 20 carries, right? Let Drew Aller throw the ball maybe 25, no more than 30 times a game, right? Too many attempts, too many picks, right? Too many attempts, too many picks. And you take away those 2 interceptions, man, y'all win this game. Probably win this game. Y'all probably win it. And if you give your running backs more touches, shoot, they could have each touched 150. Easily. Katron Allen had a great night. 14 carries, 124, 8.9 per carry, and a touchdown. Nick Singleton, 10 carries, 105, averaging 10.5 yards a carry. Penn State, no touchdowns. Penn State, got to do better there, Penn State. Got to do better there, man. Got to do better there, Coach Franklin. Get that boy the ball some more. Get both of them dudes the ball some more. If you want to win, right? If you want to win, like I said to Texas, you have to run that ball. You're going to have to run that ball. Championship teams rely on defense and running the rock. And if you have one or the other, you're setting yourself up in the long run. If you have both, which y'all have proven to have both, you're setting yourself up for success in the long run. Right? But once again, I want to congratulate Oregon on a successful season. A very successful season, right? Now, y'all just got to keep this thing going. You got the bye week. Take some time off, right? See some family if you can. Spend some time with the teammates. Get away from your teammates, right? Take a mental reset. Dan Lanning, keep your guys locked in, but also let them get a mental reset. You guys just went on a 13-game win streak. Now it's time to refocus, refresh, and lock back in, right? Take that bye week. Watch film. Watch your potential matchups, right? Get right. Because if I had to choose a team, we'll get to that at the end. Actually, we'll get to that at the end. My picks for the college football playoffs, and my pick to win it all, or my favorite pick, and my X Factor pick. We'll get into that later. But if you want to win, refresh, reset, refocus. Congratulations, Oregon, on winning the Big Ten in your first year, coming out on top versus the Penn State Nittany Lions, a very talented team. And Penn State, y'all are going to be just fine. You guys are going to have a tough matchup in the first round, no matter who it is. But come out, play cleaner football, and continue with this offensive production like you did against Oregon. You guys are going to set yourself up to see them again eventually, right? Now, let's get to this game here, because this game here has had a lot of controversy behind it. The Clemson and SMU game, right? A lot of controversy going into this game, with Alabama in Miami, but mainly Alabama. It's mainly Alabama because, the committee loves Alabama. They're going to find a way to try to get them in the playoffs every single time. Every single time. But the ACC is Clemson's conference. That is their conference, man. They went out there and looked like their national championship team. I mean, their defense was on fire. On fire. But they still allow SMU to come back into that game, but the defense nonetheless was still on fire, in my opinion. They were flying around, creating pressure, creating turnovers. It was good to see. And Clemson, right? I'm a coach, and we preach playing clean football, no penalties and things like that. And Clemson, if you guys come out and play a game with 0 penalties and 0 turnovers, you guys are going to win a lot of games. You guys are going to go on a deep run. A deep run. And if Cade Klubnik can come out and play the same way he did, right? Like the same thing I was saying about Drew Aller. I don't think Cade Klubnik needs to be throwing the ball 41 times a game. Your premier back had 13 carries for 28 yards, right? That's a problem for me. Yes, you guys won, right? Cade Klubnik had a hell of a game. 4 touchdowns, 262, 24, 41. But your running game was non-existent. 2 yards a carry, right? 2 yards a carry is not going to cut it. You got to control the ball. That's why SMU was able to get back into the game. You guys are slinging that thing around 41 times, and you couldn't get the run game going. When you can't get the run game going, you're giving the other team a chance because the clock keeps stopping. The clock constantly stops. And every time you stop the clock, shoot, SMU's like, come on, we got a chance. We got a chance, man. We do. But Clemson had a hell of a game, man. Bryant Wesco Jr., 8 catches, 143 in the air, and 2 touchdowns. Have a day. You get a game ball. You get a game ball, man. You get a game ball. And, like, Phil Maffa, going back to you. I'm sorry, guys. I got to go back to Phil Maffa. Like, I keep looking at this 13 for 28, man. Phil Maffa had a hell of a year. And he comes into the conference championship game and has 13 carries for 28 yards. Right? This year, Phil Maffa, 214 carries, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Wish he could have scored some more touchdowns, but had a year. My man had a year. Right? Putting up over 100 yards in multiple games. Multiple. And 13 carries for 20 yards, 28 yards in the championship game. Like, it's just mind-boggling, You just got to get him. You got to feed him. Offensive line, you got to get nasty down there. Right? But you did enough. They did enough. I'm overcoaching right now. That's just the coach side of me, just seeing the stat sheet. And I'm like, how didn't they run the ball more? Or how didn't they run it better? But K. Klubnik, yeah, he put on. He had a day. He saved the day. Another special shout out, tight end Jake Brenningstool. There it is. At 4 catches, 23 yards, 2 tutties. Came up with 2 tutties yesterday. Good for him. So, tight ends getting some love out there. But like I said, Clemson's defense was attacking. They were attacking, man. Putting a lot of pressure on the SMU quarterback, Kevin Jennings. And that brings me to SMU, man. SMU is a hell of a team, right? SMU is legit. They're legit. And that's why I thought they should have got in over Alabama, right? They had a better year. They played, obviously they didn't play SEC type teams, but they played their conference and they went 11-2 on the year, man. Like in their first year in the ACC. Put that in perspective. First year in the ACC, they made it to the conference championship. Like, we're trying to punish a team in SMU, for making the conference championship just because Bama, Alabama this, Alabama that, they got this many players this, strength of schedule this. Who cares? But they lost those games, right? They lost games they were supposed to win. 2 of them. And they lost the tough game versus a tough opponent. So why should they get in? Why should have they gotten in, right? But back to this SMU versus Clemson game. This SMU O-line play needs some more work, right? When you watch that game, Clemson was flying around. They were sending pressures all over the place. They were doing all their twists and stunts and getting home, creating a lot of pressure on Kevin Jennings, right? If you want to make a deep run, you're going to have to clean that up, SMU. That O-line is going to have to get nasty, right? They're going to be playing against SEC defenses, Big Ten defenses. They're going to see some tough defenses in this college football playoffs. So they're going to have to get after it during this little time off that y'all get. Kevin Jennings. Kevin Jennings is a dude, man. Kevin Jennings is a freak of nature. He's a freak. Man. He had 300 in the air and only 35 yards in the ground, but they threw the ball 50 times with him, man. He's not that type of dude. He is, but he isn't, right? Throwing the ball 50 times with any quarterback is just a lot. It's just a lot, right? And in a championship game, you really want to lean on that run game some more. I mean, Brashard Smith, I still think y'all could have given him the ball some more. Or even run the ball, create more run plays with Kevin Jennings, man. 10 carries. Y'all could have gave him some more. Y'all could have given him some more love. 3.5 carries, 3.5 yards per carry. Y'all could have gave him some more love on that aspect. And Brashard Smith, y'all could have gave him a few more carries, right? Take some of these passing attempts away and give them boys some more love, man, on the ground. Get that O-line going, right? Get them going. Get their confidence going. That's how you boost the confidence of the O-line, right? Running the ball. The nastier the mentality, the more success you see in the run game. So run the freaking ball, SMU. Run it, man. Smith, like I said, Smith was super efficient, but you have to play 11-on-11 football, like I said before. Who was I talking about? I was talking about ASU. You got to play 11-on-11 football, right? Kevin Jennings has to be a factor in the run game if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs. He has to be a major factor. Major. Right? Get him 15 carries, right? Get him 14, 15 carries. See what you can get out of that. Take 10 pass attempts off of his passing stats. Maybe 15. Shoot, I don't like that. 50 times a game. 50. It looked like 7-on-7 out there, man. It looked like 7-on-7. Right? Now moving on to SMU's defense, they play lights out. Right? They didn't play lights out in the pass game, but they play lights out in that run game. And that's good. That's a great sight to see. They're going to need that in the college football playoffs. They're going to be facing a lot of offenses with a lot of great run games, right? A lot of stifling hard-nosed run games, right? The Penn States of the world, the Oregons of the world, Ohio States of the world, the Georgias of the world. They're going to have to play all of those type of teams, man. The Boise States, let me not forget, right? Boise States, right? They're going to have to play all those type of heavy run teams. And, the performance they put on today against a premier back in college football, it was impressive. That was very impressive, right? Held Phil Moffitt to 28 yards on 13 attempts. And they just got to clean up that pass game. Shoot. Kay Klubnik didn't expect him to throw 4 touchdowns, but he did. He did. He sure did. And clean up all those penalties. 6 penalties for 65 yards, man. That's not winning football. That's not winning football, man. Right? Y'all started slow. You scored 7 points in the first quarter. No points in the second. Right? Defense. Oh man, you gotta start faster than that, SMU defense. You boys gave up 21 points in the first quarter, putting your offense in a deficit. But also the offense needs to start fast too. The offense could have scored 21 points. They could have said, shit, defense, we got y'all back. Let's go score a touchdown. No. Put up 7 points in the first quarter, no points in the second. Then decided to wake up in the fourth, but it was just a little too late. Just a little too late, right? That's what happens. You got to start fast. That's what we preach all the time to our players. You have to start fast if you want to win games. Because when you playing catch up, oh boy, you playing against the team and you playing against the clock. It's hard to do both. It is hard to do both. It is. So SMU, start faster, right? Come out, get a faster start. Clemson, keep your foot on their necks, right? Keep your foot on their necks. Lean on Phil Moffitt. He had 1,100 yards this year. Dabo Swinney, lean on Phil Moffitt. He's your best back. Lean on him. And that's all I got for Clemson and SMU, man. Congratulations to Clemson on owning the ACC, right? This is their conference. They've been dominating this conference year in, year out, right? Congratulations to Coach Swinney on another ACC championship and another berth in the college football playoffs, right? In the inaugural 12 seed format. Congratulations, right? Staying true to saying, forget the transfer portal, forget all that NIL stuff. Staying true to it. Shout out to Coach Swinney. Still, congratulations to SMU on a hell of a season in their first year in the ACC, right? They probably weren't. I don't think they were predicted to finish first or second in the ACC, but they did it, right? They did it and still have submitted a bid in the playoffs. Best of luck to them and Clemson. And let's move on to our second to last topic of the show. We're going to dive into Oklahoma's matchup in the bowl game, right? We're going to shift our focus here and talk about some Oklahoma football. Oklahoma has been placed in the Armed Forces Bowl and will be going against Navy. Woo! On December 27th in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, so there's good and there's bad, right? The good that I'm seeing off the rip, right, that we're going to have home field advantage. This is sort of home field, right? Fort Worth is 3 hours from Norman, 3.5 from Norman, not too far. Fort Worth is about 18 hours from Annapolis, Maryland. But this is the Armed Forces Bowl. There's going to be a whole lot of Armed Forces, soldiers out there. And, it's going to be a hostile game. It's going to be a weird one, right? We're going to have to play it against a triple option team. I hate triple option as a defensive coach. Hate seeing it. But it's just, it's an art. And Navy has definitely mastered that, right? So we needed a stunning upset over the Crimson Tide on the 23rd to earn this bowl game, man. In Oklahoma, we had a rough season. A rough season. Missing all of our wide receivers all season, missing half of our O-line for half of the season, for that second half of the season. It's been a tough season, and now the transfer portal, you got Jackson Arnold leaving, got the starting tight end Bauer Sharp leaving, got a couple other pieces leaving like Jaquez Petaway. He's a talented dude, top 50 ESPN recruit in his class. It's tough to see, but just to see us in a bowl game again, right? OU has been, we've been to a bowl every year since 1999 when Bob Stoops took over in Norman. And we're second to University of Georgia, right? Georgia has 28 consecutive seasons, and we have 26. So we're still a blue-collar program, Oklahoma fans, right? You just gotta hang in there. We just gotta hang in there as fans. And this is, Coach Venable's second or third season, and he's got us in back-to-back bowl games, man. We lost that one last year. We're kind of in the same predicament again, where our starting quarterback leaves, and then we got a couple other pieces leave, and we're gonna be playing with Michael Hawkins in the bowl game this year, and I'm excited to see that because we've switched our offensive scheme throughout the season, right? We've kind of turned our offense into a spread option offense, right? Running a little bit of spread, a lot of 11 personnel looks, and running the option out of a lot of those looks. And I love it. It's going to be a gritty game on December 27th versus Navy, man. And Navy is a great team. They're coming off a hell of a season, and we're going to have to show up. It's a 2 chin strap game, as they call it, right? It's a 2 chin strap game, and shoot, best run game wins. Best defense wins, right? We're going to have to score every single drive. It's something that we haven't done all season. Our offense has been very roller coastery, stagnant, whatever you want to say, inconsistent all season long. And against a team like Navy, who wants to run the ball down your throat and control the clock and have 15 play drives every single time they get on the field, we're going to have to score. What we say nowadays, we got to go band for band, score for score with them boys, right? And I think we can. Right? Depending on who plays, who stays, right? Like I said, Michael Hawkins is stepping in. He beat Auburn, right? He beat Auburn in his first career start, completing 10 of 15 passes for 161 through the air and running for 69 yards and a touchdown, right? And then he got blown out by Texas. But that Texas team is really good. So I'm excited to see this, right? Oklahoma has entered the bowl game again. It's going to be hostile territory in the armed forces game. A lot of armed forces people, soldiers, and servants will be in the stands. Hopefully we show up and show out, right? Hopefully Oklahoma fans travel. Because I think Oklahoma fans travel well when we play Texas teams. Because it's not too far. So, OU fans, get out there, get your tickets, and travel well, right? We have to get this, right? We need to end the season on a great note, right? We have to put good stuff out there on tape so we can hit the portal this year. And also capitalize on that second signing day in February. We have to, because I think we need to get over this hump. Because if we have a lot of good pieces back next year and they're healthy, we're a scary team. We just beat OU fans. Just let it sink in, guys. We beat Alabama. Right? We beat Alabama with a partially healthy team. We have the pieces. Sure, Jackson Arnold is gone. Sure. But we have a OC now. We have an offensive coordinator now, guys. A competent offensive coordinator at that. A offensive coordinator that had a ton of success this season. Tons of success this season. So, with that being said, I'm looking forward to Oklahoma versus Navy in the Armed Forces Bowl game, and I hope we come out on top. Boomer Sooner, man. Boomer freaking Sooner. And that was the Sooner Scoop, man. That was the Sooner Scoop. And with our last segment of the day, we're going to talk about this college football playoff picture, man. That thing got dropped today, and I am excited. I am excited, guys, because Alabama is not in the picture. That's all I wanted to see. No Alabama, no Miami, right? This is the perfect college football playoff picture for this season, for how this season went, right? Sitting at number 1, you have the Oregon Ducks at 13-0. Really good team. We just talked about Oregon. Oregon deserves number 1, the only undefeated team in the country, and they dominated all year long, man. They beat everybody in sight. And number 2, we got the University of Georgia, SEC champions. They will have the first round bye. They will be playing in the Sugar Bowl in their first round in the quarterfinals. And number 3, we have the Boise State University out of Boise, Idaho, with potential Heisman winner Ashton Jeanty, sitting at number 3, preparing to play in the Fiesta Bowl. At number 4, sitting at number 4, the Arizona State Sun Devils out of Arizona, the Phoenix, Arizona. Congratulations to them, man. Oh my goodness, congratulations to Arizona State. They are not supposed to be here. They were not predicted to be here, but guess what? They are here. They are here. At number 5, we have Texas. The University of Texas, after a loss to Georgia in the SEC championship game, they bumped down to 5 in the bracket, and they look to face off number 12, Clemson. That's going to be a good game, right? This is a game for each team to try to establish that run game. Establish that run game. Establish that run game. I was just saying it for both teams. Both of these teams did not establish the run game in their championship games, but one of these teams did come out on top, right? ACC champion Clemson versus number 5 SEC runner-up Texas. Arizona State has the bye. They'll be waiting on the winner of that game, right? The winner of the Texas and Clemson game will go on to play Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. Next up, we have number 8, Ohio State, and number 9, Tennessee. What a season from Tennessee, man. They earned it. They beat Bama too, right? They better get in over Alabama. Do not want to see Alabama in there. But back to this game. OSU opens up as a 7.5-point favorite over Tennessee. The winner of this game will go on to play Oregon. Now, this game here is interesting because they both have extremely good defenses, but Tennessee runs a veer and shoot offense that can be very explosive. The Ohio State defense will have to show up. That Ohio State defense is going to have to show up. Ryan Day, you are going to have to put on a master plan to score points on that Tennessee defense, right? Because you didn't put up any points versus Michigan, and Michigan had a really good defense. Tennessee also has a really good defense. But you're going to have to score points, buddy. You are going to have to score points and score points at will. You're going to have to score points at will because that's what Tennessee looks to do week in, week out. Winner of this game, like I said, goes on to play number 1, Oregon. So, hey, Ohio State, y'all know what y'all got to do, man. Right? Y'all want this rematch. Y'all lost that Michigan game. Y'all was supposed to get the rematch in the Big 12 championship. I mean, not Big 12 championship, Big 10 championship. Hey, you didn't. You lost to Michigan. Now, you got to get back, right? Hopefully, y'all watched that game out like I said y'all needed to in the last episode. And go out here and put on a show versus Tennessee and go get that rematch versus Oregon, man. Moving on. We have number 6, Penn State, home versus number 11, SMU. Ooh, this is a big game. That's being played at 11 a.m. That is a big miss by the college football schedule-making people. They should have made it a nighttime game with a whiteout, man. That would have been electric. That would be electric, right? That would be electric. But SMU versus Penn State, that game right there is gonna be interesting, right? If Drew Aller comes out there and doesn't play clean football, SMU's going to come out with the win. Right? The winner of this game goes on to play Boise State, right, in the Fiesta Bowl. And Penn State, you guys have the better team, right? Everyone knows this. Penn State has the better team on paper. But if Penn State does not show up and play clean football at home, you got an 11 a.m. game. It's a difference. Hey, you better show up. Drew Aller, you better show up. Right? Nick Singleton, you better show up. Coach Franklin, you better run that ball. You better control the ball, control the game, control the crowd. Win this game, Penn State. Because if you win this game, you got a good chance at going deep in this playoff bracket. Right? Winner of this game goes on to take on number 3 Boise State. Moving on to the final game in this first round. Number 10 Indiana versus number 7 Notre Dame. In Notre Dame in South Bend. They play on December 20th at 7 o'clock. Notre Dame opens up as an 8-point favorite. Woo! This is going to be this has potential to be the game. The game of the first round. 2 really good teams. 2 teams on fire right now, right? Kendrick Rourke leading them boys over in Indiana with a stifling defense. Notre Dame, oh man, Notre Dame's got pieces, right? Notre Dame has pieces. I love their running back. I love Notre Dame's running back, right? Both of them. I love both of their running backs. I love their coach too. His name's slipping my mind right now, but Coach Freeman, right? Coach Marcus Freeman. I love Coach Freeman. He has led this team to countless victories all year, right? Faced some adversity in some of these wins, right? Started the season off with that loss to NIU. NIU shocked the world. And then they went on to pretty much destroy everything in front of them. Right? They destroyed everything in front of them. And I watched that Notre Dame versus USC game, and, USC fought, right? USC fought in that game, but, man, Notre Dame's defense, that defense is flying around, y'all. They are flying. They got some high flyers on that defense. Number 29, that pick at the end of the game, had that pick 6. Number 0 had that pick. Man, Notre Dame, team to watch in the college football playoffs. Indiana. Really, really another team that, surprised the world, man. Like, no one expected Indiana to be this good. No one really did. Like, and if anyone looked you dead in your face and said Indiana was going to be a top 10 team to finish the year, they a liar. They lied to you. But they had a hell of a year. But they got to go in South Bend with the same mindset that they had all year in every single game. Go kick some fucking ass, man. Kendrick Rourke, you got to play clean football, right? You got to play clean football, right? Coach Signetti, you got to coach a good game because Coach Freeman is hunting. Coach Freeman is hunting over there in South Bend. Hunting, man. And the winner of this game will go on to take on number 2 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Man, this college football playoff bracket is, like I said, a French kiss. French freaking kiss, guys. And the fact that Alabama didn't get in is even better. It's even better, man. Like, they're, they're a 3-loss team. Lost to 2 unranked. Lost to Tennessee, a college football a playoff team, right? They've lost 3 games. They haven't won. They haven't had consistent success all year, right? They lost in the beginning. They lost in the middle. They lost in the end. When is the committee? The committee finally learned, right? They learned, and it's a good sight to see because the committee doesn't just care about ratings. They don't only care about ratings, right? And That's what everyone was really worried about. What does the committee care more about? Do they care about ratings? Or do they care about actually putting the best teams in? Or the teams that actually earned their way in, right? And all these teams earned their way in. SMU earned their way in. Clemson earned their way in, obviously, by winning their conference. Indiana earned their way in, right? Obviously, by dominating a lot of teams this year, right? Alabama didn't dominate a lot of teams. They were in a lot of games this year, right? You can think back to that USF game, South Florida. They were in that game. South Florida had them, but Bama exploded at the end of the game, right? You gotta look in this context, man. Context matters when it comes to choosing these playoff teams, man. And I don't think a lot of fans put a lot of context in a lot of these games, because if they did, then it would be no question that Alabama isn't a college football playoff team this year. Just because they got all these 5 stars on paper don't mean that they deserve to be in. Who cares? Boise State probably has like 1 5-star on that team. And I'm pretty sure it's Malachi Nelson, right? I'm pretty sure Malachi Nelson's on this team. And guess what? They still in. Aston Genty, I'm pretty sure he was a 3-star back or a 4-star back. They're still in. Right? It's not all about who you got on paper, bruh. It's about what you put on, man, what you put on tape. Right? Are you winning? Right? That's all that really matters about Alabama fans. Right? I'm looking forward to this college football playoffs. If I had to choose my 2 teams to, come out on top and come out in the national championship, right? It would be Oregon. No. Yes. Oregon versus. It's going to be Oregon and Notre Dame. Right? It's going to be Oregon and Notre Dame, because here's how I think it's going to go. First round. Right? Here's my first round early picks. I got Clemson over Texas. I'm sorry, not Clemson over Texas. Texas over Clemson. I have Texas over Clemson. All right, it's going to come down to the wire. I have Texas over Clemson. I do have Ohio State beating Tennessee. I have them winning by 10, 2 possessions. I got to win them by 2 possessions because Ohio State is hungry right now, right? They're pissed off that they just lost to Michigan. I think they're seeking revenge. But Tennessee has had a long break as well. Ohio State comes out on top. They're going to face Oregon and get that rematch in the Rose Bowl. Penn State, man, this is tough. Penn State over SMU. Yeah, Penn State over SMU for sure. And then this Indiana-Notre Dame gets tricky, right? This Indiana-Notre Dame gets tricky because Indiana can throw the ball at a very high rate. I think Notre Dame can throw the ball, but I don't think Notre Dame's throwing the ball like that, right? They got a hell of a run game. You need a run game to win championships, but sometimes you're going to need that quarterback to step up in that pocket and throw that football, man. Because if I take a look here, Riley Leonard only had 2,000 passing yards this year, right? Notre Dame had 3 backs with over 500 yards. 3 backs with over 500 yards, but they play stifling defense. That's another thing to take into account, is that they play stifling defense, right? But I think if Indiana, you know what? I'm going to take that Oregon and Notre Dame pick off, right? I'll take that away. I'm taking Indiana over Notre Dame in the first round. Notre Dame they're going to get into I think there's going to come a point where one of these teams is going to have to do one of the other two. Indiana's either going to have to run the ball really well, or Notre Dame's going to have to open up this playbook and throw it. Riley Leonard's going to have to drop back and step up, right? And Indiana's defense is, man, they're flying around this year too. So that's going to be a heavyweight matchup. Got a lot of heavyweight matchups in this first round, right? The Penn State SMU game seems lopsided, but it's not. It's not in theory. The Clemson Texas game seems lopsided, but if Texas Texas can come out and play slow. Quinn Ewers can turn that ball over, and if he does, Clemson isn't going to play sloppy football. Clemson is going to come out there and play clean football. You're not going to see a whole lot of penalties from those guys, right? So those are my picks in the first round: Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. Those are my picks in the first round. And with that being said, it has been another great episode, guys, right? Episode 3 of the 410 pod, right? Like I said earlier to start the episode off, I appreciate everyone's support, right? I appreciate all the views, all the comments, right? The likes, right? Everyone reaching out, congratulating me on finally starting a podcast, right? You know, we're going to only continue to go up from here, right? And all the support will be needed down the road, right? It's much appreciated right now, and it'll be much appreciated then, right? With that being said, I hope everyone had a blessed weekend, a blessed Sunday, right? A cozy Sunday, enjoying some NFL football, enjoyed some college football over the weekend as well. And I hope everyone has a blessed week. It's been a pleasure. It's your boy K Love, and I'm out.